Welcome to the Woodworks Garden Centre here in Mold, North Wales. It's that time of year that we'd like to start making our homes festive for the Christmas season, and we're better to start with a Christmas door wreath. Here at the Garden Centre, we hand make all our Christmas wreaths. Our Christmas wreath shop is full to the brim with dried fruit, cones, cinnamon and baubles. Everything you need. We have plain noble fir bases in stock in the garden centre. We have the large one or the medium one. I'm now going to demonstrate how we decorate our wreaths here at the garden centre. You will need some equipment to help you make your wreath. A hot glue gun, which you can buy here at the Woodworks Garden Centre, stub wire and a sharp pair of scissors. Select your wreath base. We make them here at the Woodworks Garden Centre on a clamp machine. We attach the noble fir to these frames. This will stay fresh well into the new year. This is when you start your design. Now you need to choose a ribbon, and we have a wide selection of beautiful ribbons in our Christmas wreath shop. Looking at your wreath base, this is when you have to decide where you're going to put the ribbon. Now I've chosen this lovely check ribbon to go on my wreath. Now usually I will put it at the base, at the bottom or on the top, or you can put it on the side. You might even decide not to have a ribbon. It's just totally up to you. But I've decided I'm going to put my ribbon at the bottom of my design. Now I shall show you how to make the bow. This is how I make them here. There are many ways you can make them, but I think this is the easiest way. The ribbon I use is a 2-inch wired edged ribbon. With the wired edge, it helps you shape the bow, and the bow tends to stay in shape if you have wide edges. Now to start putting your bow together, keep the ribbon on the reel. Don't cut a piece off, because you'll always find out that you'll run out of ribbon before you finished your bow. So I start off with deciding a length of tail. Now I'm right-handed, so I use my left hand as an anchor point. Choose the length of your tail, and it can be as long or as short as you like, and just pinch the tail, like so. Now you need to concentrate here. You need to remember to keep on passing through your anchor point. If you don't, you'll find when you try to finish off, it won't stay together. So I have a tail. On the opposite side of the tail, I'm going to make a loop, and making sure that the pattern of the material is facing towards you. Make a small loop, scrunch it together in your hand, like so. So I have a tail there and my first loop on the opposite side. Now I need to make a loop on the opposite side to this loop, same side as the tail, and making sure that the pattern is facing you forward and it is opposite to your first loop. Pinch and squeeze together, so everything is passing through that anchor point. Now to keep going, I need to make another loop on the opposite side. Again, pinch, and then again on the other side. Now you can keep on making loops and making them slightly bigger as you go, but I'm going to leave it there. I think just the 4 loops will be enough. I'm going to cut it away from the roll, and using a piece of stub wire again, fold and then pass that through between the 2 tails and over the middle of your bow. So it's come through to my anchor point. There, I twist, and there we are. That's the start of your bow. Now I like to have longer tails on this, so what I'm going to do is add another piece of ribbon. So if I leave that there, I just decide on the length and cut a piece away. About halfway through, it doesn't have to be accurate, it's near towards the middle of your extra piece. Just make a small collar, and this is going to cover the wire that you've used in the middle of your bow and go between the 2 original tails. Bring it to the back and tie. You see at the back you've got your wire, that's going to be your anchor point to your wreath base. And then just to finish off, as I say, showing that having the wire in the ribbon can help make you play and get it to the right shape. Bring your tails forward and then just finish off by cutting V's and just tidying off the edges. With your scissors, just cut a small V, like so, and again, it just neatens off the edges. I've decided to put my bow at the bottom of my design. So at the top, on the opposite side, I need to attach a wire at the back, and this is where you can attach it to your door with either putting a nail on or adding a piece of ribbon and passing it through to the other side and attaching it. So really up to you, but this is one way of doing it. So I need a piece of stub wire, and this I fold in half into a loop, just half into a loop. Pass the loop through the frame, bringing the ends up and twisting around the loop and pushing back in towards the base. This is to ensure that all sharp edges are actually in the base and not going to scratch your door. That's one method where you can attach it to your door, or you can actually buy these door hangers, which are available here at the Woodworks Garden Centre. Now I'm going to attach the bow to the base, but if you've decided you want to add lights, this is where you actually attach them before you put the bow or any other decorations. Make sure if this wreath is going outside and is open to the elements that you use a set of lights that are weatherproof. And we sell them here at the Woodworks Garden Centre, and I think there's the more of the little white rice lights with a battery pack. You just attach the battery pack to the back and just thread your lights through. But I'm not going to use lights today, I'm just going to stick with bows and decorations. Now this is how you attach your bow. Using the wire that you made your bow with, pass it through the wreath base, push it right through until you feel it coming through on the opposite side. Bend the wires in and push it back in over the frame and back into the foliage, so you just keep those sharp edges away. And just to be on the safe side, I always add a piece of hot glue at the back to keep it in place. And there we are, it's your bow. So we're going to start decorating the wreath. I've got all my components here, and what I'd like to do is I keep all the heavy materials to the centre. This gives a good balance to your actual finished design. So I have 3 cones. I use odd numbers, it just gives a better flow to your design in the end. So I'm going to twist these cones together to make a nice picked bunch of 3 and place them. You see, I'm only going to place them at the moment. I won't glue or wire them in until I'm happy with my design. So I'm going to just place where I think they're going to go. So I'm happy with where the cones are. Now I'm going to just add some whole dried oranges, which smell really lovely. And just again place them so you can see where you want to actually place it, especially with colour. You've got to be very careful with your colour when you're putting each piece in place. I think I'm going to try some cinnamon. The cinnamon is wrapped in raffia. I'm just going to put the wire through a couple of dried orange slices and I'm going to place those there. Again, I have 3 of everything just to keep that balance. I'm going to put that one there. And 1 more, which I'm going to pop there. So they're my heaviest components. So that's giving you a nice shape, keeping the nice flow of the wreath. Just to bring some berries in to go to matching with the bow. These are frosted berries, and these will withstand damp. They won't expand like some do. They're pre-wired, so I'm just going to pop them in place. On this occasion, I'm going to use 5. Again, just to pop round. So I'm pretty happy with that at the moment. Now I'm going to just look at maybe putting some small elements around on the edges, and these picks you can actually cut from and just pop a bit of glue in and pop round, just hiding a bit under the branches as well. Not everything needs to be balanced on top. You need that sort of 3D effect. So I'm going to just cut away on some of these. The best way to check that you're getting a nice finish is put your wreath on the floor and look above it, and then you'll be able to see if there's any gaps that you need to fill in, and using these small little components you can just pop those in. So I'm pretty happy where I am now. What I'm going to do now is start gluing and wiring everything on. The best way to do this is take a photograph of what you've actually put together, or just a snapshot. So when you've taken all the components off, you've got some sort of record of where they were. You can just follow it through. So now I'm happy with the design. I've taken all the components off, and I'm going to actually start attaching it, either wire or glue it to the base. There's the 3 cones. Now mind your fingers, because it can be a little bit tricky. So I'm using the wire and pushing it through the base. You see the wires have come through. Just tuck those back in and up again, so it's inside the wreath and no sharp edges again. So you can see that's attached. I can again do that with the cinnamon. Again, push the wire through, bring it back and tuck it back under. Large oranges. Again, these are all wired. Pop the wire through. Bring the wire back into the frame. So as you can see, they're all quite secure. Some of the components are quite light and they really don't need the wire, so all I use on this occasion is the hot glue gun. Just pop it in like that. The small cones, tiny bit of glue, pop in. Like so. And then just carry on throughout your design. So I'm at a point now that the wreath is taking its shape, but I've also seen that I have got some spaces that I want to fill. So again, these are lotus heads, very light. Easy, just glue and pop in. So there you have it, a bespoke wreath made by you, one of a kind. Your friends and family will be impressed. Now if you've decided that you don't want to have a door wreath, you can use the same principle and the same base and make a table centre for your Christmas table. This one I've just put on a cake plate and popped a pillar candle in the middle. And as you can see, I've just placed the ribbon in 3 areas, so you have an all-round arrangement. If you're going to use this type of wreath in your home, I would suggest, especially with central heating, just spritz it every other day with some water to keep it looking fresh. I'd love to see your creations, so if you'd like to share any of your images on our social media, we'd just love to see them. Wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year from everybody at the Woodworks Garden Centre.